Manilow here. It's Wednesday, the 13th of February 2012. Here I am back home, boys and girls. Sorry there was no show on Saturday. It was all a bit of a rush since I got back for my mini break in New York. And also sorry we didn't manage to do a little show with my dear friend Suko, who resides kind of just outside Manhattan. I'm sorry about that. We just didn't have the time. I'm sorry. But anyway, I noticed at the end of the last show, I used the expression expand upon them. And I've kind of been looking at my waist again. I think it's time for another little trip to the scales. Oh, I've just got to push some buttons. Just a minute. Just a second. Because otherwise... Oh, dear. What? Pushing buttons. Thank you. Otherwise something will go wrong. There we are. Just resetting something, resetting. Do you like that, resetting? Have you noticed that all electronic stuff eventually seems to need resetting, doesn't it? There's no rhyme or why did it go wrong? Never used to be like that, did it? Did you think? You know, once something went wrong in the past, that was it. You know, it needed repairing or taken back. Yeah, I mean, it needed repairing or it had died forever. Now... when things go wrong sometimes within this new electronic age, all you seem to need to do to repair things a lot of the time is turn it off, wait 30 seconds and turn it on again. What a shame our human bodies aren't like this when we get some terrible illness. You know, why can't they just... maybe they should do that. Maybe they could, you know, when we're ill, possibly give us something like an induced heart attack to kill us. And then leave it for 2 minutes. And then wake us up 2 minutes later with another electric shock. And then our illnesses will be cured. I'll have to mention that to the doctor next time on my regular visit to him. Anyway, so we got to the end of the show. As you can see, I'm back now at my home. I'm so glad to be back. I really am. Now, don't get me wrong. I had a wonderful time seeing Barry Manilow, of course, and I'll tell you about that in a minute, seeing Barry, and of course my dear friend Suko and her husband Jerry, and her absolutely stunningly gorgeous daughter Jade. Oh, she has got one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen in my entire life, and I'm gay. You know, I'm not going to attack her, but I can see it. She is beautiful, this girl. Absolutely stunning daughter they've got. So I had a wonderful time with them. I'll come back to that in a minute. All right, so we got as far as Tuesday night when I recorded the last show. I had a very nice birthday, thank you very much. So now I am in the over 50s club. I know. Those of you with vision are looking at me now thinking, God, he's not over 50. I look at myself and I say, God, I don't believe I'm over 50. My nephew happily tells me I look older. What's all that about, nephew? I mean, you would think all these lovely children that are around, well, they're not around me, they're up north in Lincolnshire, a good 3 hours drive away. But you would think with the gifts and things like that I buy at Christmas and birthdays, you'd think a little bit more respect, wouldn't you, for old Uncle Chris? I mean, it wouldn't hurt Jimmy or Gary or Tracy, my niece, to tell me, oh, you don't look like 50, like everyone else does, except, of course, for my best mate, Ron, who's only too happy to point out any faults that I have in me. Not that you would. I know you wouldn't do that, would you? I know, because we are friends, you and me, aren't we? We are friends. Do you and me? I have a cup of tea here. Yes. So Tuesday, after I finished recording the show, I actually went to bed for a while in preparation so I could be nice and awake for the Barry Manilow concert. So I got up. I was at the theatre at round about, I think about 6:15, 6:30, something like that. There was a long queue. We all went in and I got my seat. Thank you. Third row back. Thank you very much. Towards the centre. So really good seat, and the place filled up. I was surprised, actually, there was an empty seat next to me. There was actually an empty seat next to me, and I looked around, and there were one or two, we're not talking rows and rows, but there were one or two empty seats. So possibly it wasn't quite sold out, although it was near enough, you know, you could get to selling out a concert, I would have said. And Behind me, I noticed a row of ladies, and they started getting out Union Jack flags out of their handbags. I thought, yes, the Brits are here supporting the great Barry Manilow. And as I looked around, I noticed more and more groups of women. Sadly, no groups of lads for me to, try and chat up, but more and more groups of women that appeared to look like they come from the UK. There's a certain look. There's a certain... No, it's not overweight. Please, it's not overweight. There is a certain... I'm the only one that was overweight in that place. I'm sure I am the only one. These women were all dotted around, and you can see they were from the UK. And then there was a group of women who sat in the front row, and I swear, this is the 4th time I've seen a Manilow concert. I swear the lady in the front, she was wearing red. I don't know her name, I didn't speak to her. She was a big girl as well, and she was wearing red. I'm sure this is the 3rd time I've seen her sitting in the front row at a Manilow concert. Absolutely, I think she was. I'm sure she's a much better fan than me. Anyway, so I looked round and I said, good evening, ladies from the UK. And we had a little chat with the girls that were behind me, which was quite nice. And I found out one of the ladies has been to see Barry Manilow 200 times. Don't laugh. 200 times is not enough, if you ask me. We need to be going daily to see his concerts. I may move. If Barry Manilow ever sets up his own theatre somewhere, I think I may possibly move so that I can go and see his show nightly. You're probably thinking, oh, you'd get fed up seeing the same... How can you get fed up seeing a Barry Manilow concert? It's not possible. You can't get fed up listening to those wonderful tunes. You can't. Anyway, so the show starts, and it was all just wonderful. I did take quite a lot of photographs while I was there. Those of you with vision... I shall show you a few of the photographs while I'm chatting away about Al Bazza. And he did his usual selection of very well-known songs. I know he did. I'm just trying to think what he did now. It's funny, you get lost while he's singing. You get completely lost in the whole atmosphere of it. Certainly he did I Made It Through the Rain and Kept Myself Protected from the Others Who Got Rained Onto. So he did that one. He did, of course, Mandy. When he does Mandy, this big video screen comes down, and it shows him doing Mandy as a much younger man. And then he comes on the stage and plays along with the video on his piano, and kind of takes over from the video. Right, so the picture goes off, and then he's singing on his own. There's a spotlight on him, and then when he gets to a certain point, the video comes back on. And he is kind of harmonising with his own video, and it just works so well. It really does. He did Can't Smile Without You. You know I can't smile without you. And I can't smile without you, incidentally, boys and girls. I can't do this show without smiling. If you're not there, I can't smile. I mean, it's bad enough sitting in this little room. If I thought for one moment I was sitting in here on my own and there was no one there, I think I might have to kill myself, boys and girls. I might have to kill myself. Perhaps I should do that live on the show. Do you think that would get us any more than a couple of hundred viewers? I mean, I do look round at these YouTube videos. There are people, I have to say, a little bit younger than me, but they've got thousands and thousands of viewers, dear, and I only get about 200. It's all very disappointing. Please share this programme on your Facebook walls. Things are desperate. Things are desperate here, boys and girls. Anyway, enough talking about me. We need to talk about the man himself, Mr. Barry Manilow, my hero singer of all time. So he did that. Did he do Even Now? Because I love that song, Even Now. I think that's my favourite Barry Manilow song, Even Now. I think he did New York City Rhythm. And, and all in all, a fantastic show. Now, Thing is with Barry, he doesn't mind you taking as many photos as you want. It's one of those shows, and I've been to a few different shows now, and some places they don't like you to take any photographs, which is understandable, you know, it's up to the artist and that, but he doesn't mind. And I flash away with my camera, as those of you can see on your YouTube videos now, those of you that watch, you know, I flash away with my camera, and nothing is said, but a woman, I did notice a lady a little bit further down who was videoing him. She kind of, you know, when someone's videoing you, they're holding the camera like that all the time, you know, for the entire length of the show, and they don't like that. I noticed at the corner of my eye there was a flashing light on my right, and I looked over, and it was a security guard, and he had his torch, and he was trying to flash it in this woman's face to attract her attention. Eventually she looked round. I don't think she looked round at him, so he was flashing and flashing and flashing. And he said to me, and he looked at me and pointed to her, and I looked at her, and I thought, no, I don't want to get involved in this, and I just carried on watching. I mean, can't distract me watching Barry, please. I'm trying to watch Barry, please don't distract me with your flashing torches. But, and then I noticed another security guard come down the other aisle, and there was one on each side, and he was flashing. Eventually she saw one of them, and they told her, you know, no videoing, which is quite understandable. You can't have people, you know, videoing entire songs. Although, you know, I mean, you couldn't sell it. It's not like you could sell it to someone. You're never going to get good quality from whatever video camera you've got there, because you know, obviously you can't walk in with a tripod and do it all properly and get good sound off the sound system and that. You know, it's never going to be very good quality. So I don't really see what the problem is, but you know, nevertheless, that's presumably what Barry wants. So fair enough, we go by this. I did do a couple of very short videos, you know, like 10-15 seconds, and again. And those of you that are watching the show may or may not have seen those. If I can upload, I'm not quite sure how to upload them on here. Okay, so we might just have to stick with the photos. It was an early show, actually. It started at 7 o'clock, and I think I was out there by about 10 to 9. And just a wonderful show. Oh, the woman who sits at the front, you know, the big woman in the red, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the man and his music to bits. Love to meet him at some point, I really would. Don't know what I'd say, to be honest. What do you say when you're in the presence of a superstar? You know, a lot of my friends, they'd like to meet people like Madonna and Kylie Minogue. I'd like to meet Barry Manilow. What do you say? Hello, how are you? I love your music. I suppose I don't know what else to say. I'd like to go one step further and meet him in Starbucks or somewhere like that. I do like to go in Starbucks when I'm away, because it's the only place you can get a decent cup of blooming British tea. If you're going to the States soon, boys and girls from the UK, can I just give you a little bit of advice? When you go into Starbucks and order tea, order Black Awake tea. That's what you want, Black Awake tea in Starbucks, and that's the English breakfast one, which tastes very nice and strong, okay? All right. So, yes, so that was the concert, really. The woman at the front, she was standing there and she was blowing kisses. Mwah, 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 like that while he was singing. I mean, what must he think? She's really obsessed. I'm sure there's nothing. No, it's not an insult or anything like that. I think it's wonderful to have a fan that would stand there at the front going, mwah, mwah, you know, blowing kisses at him for an entire song. Fantastic. And that was it, really. I bought a lovely Barry Manilow programme, which I'm going to give to my niece as a nice present. It's got loads of photos. Big programme. It was $20. So I'm giving that to my niece along with her presents, which I think I showed you on the last show, the handbags and that I bought everyone. Well, not handbags, they're like, you know, sort of halfway between a handbag and a shopping bag, which I bought loads of people. And I think from the Barry Manilow concert, I went home. The only thing is, obviously these English women, they had their flags and that, which is fantastic. I notice on a couple of occasions, that little group at the front, who always sit in the front, and you know, the big lady in the red dress, they got up a couple of times to dance, as indeed I did. And certainly in London in the O2, virtually the entire crowd, the entire O2, get up from their seats and dance to his music while he's singing. Okay? But there was a row of older people behind who kept tapping this lady on the shoulder and asking her to sit down. And I thought that was a bit of a shame, really. And then I realised, when I looked around, when people got up again to dance, a few of us, of course I did, got to get up and dance to Barry's music. Absolutely have to. But I noticed that really the only people that got up were the English. The Americans seemed to just sit there in the chairs and watch. Now, I'm not saying they're not having a good time. I'm sure they are. But I just don't see how you can have such a good time when you just sit there and watch and you're up. I believe he wants you to get up. Is that the cat? Is that you, cat? Katie? What are you meowing for? Katie? Oh, she's gone quiet again now. Yeah, I mean, I believe he wants you to get up and enjoy his music by dancing. And I don't understand why all the Americans want to just sit down and watch it. Now, this reminded me, and I'm sure it was just the British people who got up, because I looked behind me, and of course the lovely row of ladies with their Union Jacks behind me, they were dancing, I was dancing, the row in front were dancing, but you could see, like, the row behind the one in front, they were kind of talking, oh, I wish they'd sit down. You could see them saying it, you know, and it must be just a different mindset, I suppose, of people who go and watch shows. It was exactly the same scenario when I went to see Mamma Mia in New York about 10 years ago, the last time I was there. And I remember at the end of Mamma Mia, which is a great show, it's all the ABBA songs, there were times in there, certainly at the end, when they played all the ABBA songs and they invited you to get up and dance. And I was dancing, and so was everyone else. But there were a lot of people, so were all the other English people. But once again, most of the Americans were just sitting there watching the show. Kind of very reserved. Which is perhaps... I mean, they often say about British people that we are rather reserved, well, don't they? Well... not at concerts we're not. We want to get up and have a good time. So please, I don't understand why that is. If you're an American Manilow fan watching this show, and I'm wrong, please tell me, because I might be completely wrong about this. Maybe the real Manilow fans, like myself, the American real Manilow fans, were also up dancing with the rest of us. But generally, it just seemed to me that it was the British people dancing. All women. Oh, I think I was the only man there. I'm sorry, girls. I'm a puff. You know. But do you know what I think I'd like to do? I'd like to hook up with some of these real British Manilow fans, because I think they go around together to go to his concerts and things. And I'd like to go to a concert with all of them at some point. I really would. I think that would work quite well. What do you reckon, ladies? Are you? Are you perhaps, there's some Manilow ladies watching this now who go around to concerts? Do you have a little group that I could join? I mean, I'm in a group on Facebook, a couple of Manilow things on there. But perhaps, ladies, you know, you want some sad old man to come along with you and enjoy it with you as well. And I promise to keep my hands to myself. Unless you've got nice boyfriends. In that case, I might be tempted. I might. All right? I've got an email address, boys and girls. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. One thing you'll notice if you ever go to New York is there's so much food. There really is so much food to eat. Shop after restaurant after restaurant after fast food place, pizzas, and it's all there. But if you want... And, you know, some of these places, I like the way they do it. There was this pizza place called Sparrow, I think it was Sbarro. I think it's a chain. Let me just finish my tea. Oh, lovely to have tea. I think it's a pizza chain. Not only do they do pizzas, they do ice creams and like in the middle of some of them, of the big one that I went in two of these Sparrow places. In the middle of the big one was this buffet type affair. You pay one price and then you just keep going up and helping yourself. And I noticed there were quite a few places like that in the States, in New York rather, in New York in the States, where you would go in and you pay whatever it is, $10 or whatever, and then they give you a plate and you just keep going up. You know, and there were quite a few in this particular Sparrow place. I can't remember the address. I think it was on 6th Avenue, possibly 6th Avenue, crossing with 49th Street, 50th Street, something like that. And there were quite a few, shall we say, foods that were good for you. In the buffet section, they had green beans and vegetables and rice, and you could help yourself to that, as well as the usual, you know, loaded with calories, pizzas and all that. And they had a big board on the wall which told you how many calories there were in sort of in each thing. Like one pizza slice might say 420 calories or something like that. Oh yes. Believe me, you'd be surprised at how many calories there are in just one pizza slice. So, lads, next time you go out, you know, and buy yourself a large, medium pizza, you must be eating 3,000 to 4,000 calories in it. Oh, but they are nice, aren't they? Eh? So there is just so much food, it's unbelievable. And of course the donut shops and the sweet shops, and there's always a line, queue of people in the donut shops there. You know. So lots of food in there. Wednesday I spent with Suko. I had a lovely Wednesday with Suko, and this time I actually managed to find her house. Although it wasn't entirely without problems. I got to the station, Penn Station, the right one this time. I went down the stairs, found the platform, jumped on the train, and she was actually a little bit further than I thought she was. It was about a 30 to 40 minute train ride out of Penn Station to Rockville Centre. And then I got out of there, and I couldn't believe that the sun was shining, because the weather has been bloody cold. Oh my God, it was freezing in New York. Absolutely freezing. But by Wednesday it warmed up a bit. And so I got off the train. Her husband was supposed to be picking me up, Jerry, so I had a little look around. And he wasn't there yet. So I thought, OK, I'll sit on the bench in the sunshine. So I sat on this bench. Oh, it was lovely. The sun was beaming down on my little face. No tan, unfortunately, or anything like that, but it was beaming down on my face, and nice and warm. So I sat there, and I thought, well, maybe he might think I'm on the next train. So I waited, and I walked round a couple of times, right round the station, because like, there's a front side and a back side. Not that sort of backside, the backside of the station, dear. Stop making your own jokes up as we go along, please. In the end, I think after an hour waiting, because I don't know why I didn't ring earlier, but after an hour of waiting, I thought I better give her a ring. So I rang up Suko. I said, am I in the right place? She says, well, where are you? So I told her, and she said, yes, Jerry's there waiting for you to... But I said, well, I've been here for an hour. She says, oh, I'll ring Jerry. So I walked round again, and he was sitting in a car. And I'd missed him, and he'd missed me, because I think he was reading the newspaper or something. So he'd been there for an hour, and I'd been sitting on the other side of the station for an hour waiting for him. Because he said, I thought you'd come out this way, because this is all where the shops are. I said, yeah, but the sun's on the other side. I've been sitting in the sun. So that was quite funny. So Jerry picked me up and took me to Suko's house. And she made, she gave me a lovely lunch of this, like, pasta and cheese stuff, which she'd made the day before, I think. Oh, it was absolutely delicious. And proper English tea she had. Proper English tea. She'd done herself all up as well, Suko. She'd got nice, she'd done something nice with her hair, made it in, not a pony. Is it a ponytail? Like plaited hair. Oh, she looked beautiful. She really did. And I sat down, and me and Jerry, her husband, we had a chat. Oh, we would chat for ages, Jerry and I. He's got a beautiful television, and he downloads a lot of movies and that. He's got a huge collection of movies, which is the way he showed me how it all works and what have you. And what a lovely apartment, so clean and nice. And I met the cats, Jasmine, and what's the other name of the other cat? I can't remember now. Jasmine, I think, was the black one. Very friendly. Oh, she was lovely. Did she come on my lap? I don't think she came on my lap, but she came over to me for a stroke. So that was quite nice. And then, where did we go then? So we were in her house for a while, and then Jade, her daughter, came back from school, because Jade, she's a dancer. She wants to be a dancer. And she does all this ballet and all that, and she's damn good at it. I've little videos and seen her doing that sort of thing. So we then, where did we go then? I think Jade stayed at home to do some homework, and we went out to see Suko's friend's house. Now, Suko's friend, I can't remember what her name out now. She sadly died in the hurricane. And Suko and Jerry were very good friends of this lady. I wish I could remember the name. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name now. But it was all very sad, really. What they think happened is that the lady took a Valium to go to sleep while this hurricane was going on. And a lot of water came into the house, you know, sort of, I think 4 feet of water. So it was very high, came into the house. And what they think happened is that she woke up during the night. Well, of course, you know, I've never had a Valium before, so I don't know. Presumably it makes you continuously sleepy. And got up, and they walked into the living room, and of course there was all this water everywhere. And they think she tripped over, bumped her head and drowned, because they found the body in the water, which was in the house, and the fridge and everything was floating. Because I went round to the house, and the oil thing, you know, where they have the heating oil, that was on the other side of the garden where the water had come. 4 feet of water had come in from the. I suppose from the because they're not too far away from the is it the ocean or the river, or I can't remember what the canal, can't remember, but you know, all this water came over, and there was 4 foot of water everywhere at the time, and I can't believe I was standing there outside the house, and just, you know, a few weeks before, this whole place had been under 4 foot of water. I mean, quite unbelievable. And I went in the house to have a look, and of course a lot of damage, all these beautiful records, and they showed me where the body of this poor lady was found, and it was all very sad. And Suko gave me a beautiful picture that she had drawn. Do I have that with me here? I think it's downstairs. I've left that downstairs. I can't go off and get it because I'm kind of hooked up to this microphone at the moment, so no, I haven't got it here. But a beautiful picture of a cat that which Suko drew of the lady's cat, 1983, I think the date was on there, and she said, "Go on, you can have that." So thank you very much, Suko, and I do have that here, and it got back here unbroken, I'm pleased to say, so I shall be putting that up somewhere. But I didn't realise my friend Suko is a very talented artist, and can do all this drawing and all this sort of stuff. Something that I can't do. I cannot draw to save my life. If I drew you a picture, it would look like a 2-year-old had tried to draw something. I just can't draw. So very, very talented. A beautiful picture of a cat with blue eyes and all that. And it was the lady's cat. And of course, the lady's not there now. So she said, "You take the picture." So I thanked her for that. While I was walking around the house, and in the garden, it was a beautiful little typical American kind of bungalow type place, and I felt that it had been a very happy house up to that point. You know what I mean? You could feel the atmosphere in there. That's very happy. So we went out to the back. I had a look around the house, of course. Went out to the back of the house, and I noticed there was a pipe, a burst pipe, and the water was pouring out of this pipe. And Jerry hadn't noticed it, so I said, "Do you know there's a leak there?" And he said, "Oh, where?" So he said, "Oh," and this water was pouring out this pipe. Anyway, get this. So he rang up the water authority, whoever that was, and they say, "Okay, we'll treat that as an emergency." This was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. We'll treat this as an emergency. Can you have your phone with you, and we'll ring you when we're on our way? Okay. Do you know what? We got to, I think, 9 o'clock at night, and they still hadn't rung. What a joke. And I said to Jerry, "Are they always going on about you saving water and all this?" He said, "Oh yeah, they're always going on about not wanting to waste water and all that." So this water was pouring out of this pipe. What a joke. Because of course there was no heating, and it's been very, very cold there, so the pipe had obviously burst. It must have been chucking out water for days. Shocking, absolutely shocking. But there we are. So then we went back, Jerry went back, I think, to the house because he wanted to be ready in case the water people rang. And it was about 3:30 now in the afternoon. So Suko took me to the shops and we had a little look around the shops where she lived there, which was quite nice. I went and ordered a medium Coke, you know, and 2 people carrying this. I should have ordered the small one, really, but the American sizes are all very, very large indeed. Oh, I think they've got a new law coming out in New York. They're trying to push through this new law that they're going to outlaw 16-ounce cups of soft drinks, you know, like soda, like Coke and all that. They want to outlaw this, and the drinks companies are up in arms and saying, no, we should be able to sell it. And they're only thinking about the people, I think, you know, because 16 ounces of Coca-Cola, that's a big old mug, that is. And there's an awful lot of sugar in there. I mean, packets and packets of sugar in just one drink. That, you know, you wouldn't sit there. And I saw this advert on the telly, actually. It was like one of those health type adverts. And it shows you this bloke ripping over packets of sugar and just pouring them down his throat. And there were, I think, 15 packets of sugar in it. And the advert went, you wouldn't eat sugar like this, but you do every time you buy a medium Coke or something like that. Apparently a medium Coke has got something ridiculous like 15 packets of sugar in it. Did you know that? I mean, I knew it had sugar in it, but blimey, an awful lot. Anyway, so we had that, and I think I had a little portion of chips because I felt a little bit peckish. We had to look around the shops. I bought a nice shirt, just one shirt, I think, and we had to look around this gadget shop, which I love gadget shops. I love gadget shops, don't you? All sorts of things, clocks and little square things and all bits and pieces. Then we went back and they took us out to a restaurant which was very nice, and I had this this rice dish, some sort of creamy rice dish, which was very nice. And then met 2 more of Suko's friends, lovely people. And the husband of this other lady, I had a good old chat with him, chinwag with him. And then I got the train back to my hotel room. And it was all very, very nice. The Wednesday. Yep, that was the Wednesday. And I watched a bit of more telly and then went to sleep. So that was my Wednesday. I'll tell you the rest about my trip on the next show, okay? Because we want to do a few more emails, and I've been chatting now for half an hour, and we're never getting the emails in, will we? I have actually got, at the moment, quite a lot of emails here, boys and girls. So these will come up over the next few shows. Apologies if you're going to be waiting a little while for them to come up. But please don't let that stop you sending them in. On the usual email, my email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Got Twitter as well, if you want to follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is ChrisReardonUK. Twitter is ChrisReardonUK. And Facebook again, facebook.com/ChrisReardonUK. That's Reardon. I was going to say something to you then. What was I going to say to you? Well, it's gone completely out of my head, that has. How annoying. How annoying. Sorry, I've got to say something to you then. What are we talking about? Emails that haven't come up yet? Oh gosh. Oh well. I need to say things really before I forget. Oh, Suko bought me loads of bush baked beans to take home. Now that is the way to my heart, boys and girls. Bush baked beans. We can't get these in the UK. Our leading brand is Heinz, which are nice. Which are nice. Bush's baked beans are very nice indeed. And Suko knows I'm vegetarian. She bought me Bush's vegetarian baked beans because the other Bush ones have bits of bacon in it. Although, to be honest, she did give me a couple of Bush baked beans with the bacon in it. Is that the cat screaming again? Katie! Come here, darling, if you want to come here. What are you doing? You know what she does? Right, she goes in, because my bedroom's next door. She goes in the bed, sits on the bed, and goes to sleep. If she noticed I've come in, she starts meowing for me to go in there, because Katie sleeps with me now, right, the cat. And if I don't go in the bedroom and get into bed, right, she starts meowing. It's like, get in the bed now. I love my cat. She's completely recovered now, by the way. She's not the same as she was before the operation, I will say that. She's a lot more vocal. She meows a lot more now. And she's a lot more placid. Not placid. She sleeps a lot more now. I notice that. She doesn't run around like a young cat anymore. But then again, she isn't a young cat. She's about 15 years old. So that's my cat. So Suko bought me the bush baked beans. Okay. If you ever come into the UK, please bring over some bush baked beans for me. Thank you very much. And also, she bought me this wonderful snow globe with the Statue of Liberty in it. And you shake it up and lots of stars appear in front of you. Stars in their eyes. And there is the Statue of Liberty. I didn't go and see the Statue of Liberty or any tourist things like the Empire State Building because I've been before and I've done all those things already. And, once you've seen the statue, it doesn't change. Statue of Liberty, they don't put a different dress on it each day or anything like that. Once you've seen it, it's always the same. I was tempted to do a helicopter trip, but I kind of didn't get around to it. Which would have been quite nice. I quite like the idea of doing a helicopter trip, but there you go, didn't do it. All right then, email time. Now, I've got a couple of emails on my mobile phone as well that I'm going to hopefully read out at some point, but I'm not going to be able to get through all these today. Maybe take a couple of shows to get through all these emails, okay? First, hello to Angela, who sent this in just before I left to New York on the 1st of February, who says, hello, Chris. I wish all your listeners had the opportunity of hearing you read out one of their letters. Well, if you send in an email, boys and girls, I will read it out. End of story. The only reason I won't read out an email is if, for some strange reason, it gets lost. It doesn't usually, it's very rare for me to lose an email. Okay? I just don't lose them. All right? If you send something to chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, it will get here. It won't get lost. If it doesn't get here, you haven't heard it come up sort of within 3 shows, let me know. But it's very unlikely. I think I may have lost 2 emails in the space of the 6.5, 7 years that I've been doing this show. Okay? So don't worry too much about it. However, if you put a message on YouTube, that may, or Facebook, sometimes they get a bit lost. Because what happens is that there's so many ways of messaging the show, and sometimes I forget to look at one place. Do you know what I mean? So the YouTube ones sometimes don't get read out. I know some people, they put lots of comments on the YouTube, but then they wonder why they haven't got read out. I've missed them. Basically, that's it. I've missed them. But if you always put stuff in an email or on the Twitter, generally, virtually all the time, I get those, and they will always be read out if you send something in, okay? Angela says, it's amazing the talent you have for making a plain letter sound exciting and interesting. I have no talent at all, my dear. Barry Manilow is the only person with talent in this world. I'm telling you now. You said, when you read my last letter, you thought I was more of a private person. You are right. I'm a very private with private information about myself. In fact, I'm not on Facebook or Twitter. I do not really see the value of Twitter. Oh, you and me are like, Angela. I've got to be honest. I don't understand the value of Twitter either. However, I'm kind of on it. I'm afraid I've been led by a bit of a sheep like that. I am a bit of a sheep with the Twitter, and I feel I should be on it because so many other people are. And that's really the only reason I'm on it, Angela. Sometimes I look at it and it's all right. I mean, but it's not. I prefer Facebook. I do prefer Facebook to Twitter. The only reason I'm on Twitter is because other people are. That is really the only thing. Angela says, but I am one of the most outgoing people you will meet. I've been in sales before, so I can talk to anyone, anywhere, and usually have a good rapport with them in a few minutes. Oh, what were you selling, Angela? You didn't tell me what you were selling. Could you sell to me? Do you reckon you could sell me something? Salesmen, I give them a bloody rough time, I do. They don't usually get my money out of my pockets. You go in the shop and they're like, round you like locusts, aren't they? Locusts, dear. Locust, can I help you? No. Oh, what are you in here looking for? Don't know. Oh, can I show you this? No. Go away! I hate salesmen. They don't, honestly. I had a salesman round here, it was about 50... Oh, the cat's meowing again. Katie! Katie? Now and again I hear little meows. Anyway, I had a salesman come round here about 15 years ago. Was when I first considered solar panels. And he told me the price. I said, oh, you might as well go now, mate. He said, well, what did you think they were going to cost? So I told him the price. He said, oh, I can't get any. He goes, well, you might as well go then. And he tried his hardest. No, he weren't going to get a penny out of my pocket. You've got to be strong with these salesmen. If you don't want them, tell them to piss off. Piss off out of my house. Get out. They knock at the door, dear. They knock at the door. And you know the sellers straight away. Now, are you selling something? Well, you are, aren't you? Well, no, go away, not interested. Aren't you interested? No. Well, I can save you money on gas. Close the door. Don't talk to them. I've actually got a sign on my door now that says stop. Do not, if you're selling or trying to convert my religion or trying to change my gas or electricity, do not knock. And it actually works. I don't get anyone knocking anymore. Bastards. Get out of my house. What about you, Angela? Do you think you could sell to me? Could you sell sand to the Arabs? Are you a good salesperson, Angela? Let us know what you sell. Angela says, you asked if Illinois was near New York. My town is 900 miles from New York and about a 14-hour drive. Oh, I wouldn't have been able to walk there anyway then, would I? In fact, if I had decided to walk there from the Saturday, I still wouldn't have got there, would I, my darling? I've placed a US map below. Illinois is in green and New York is in purple pink. So thanks very much for sending me that little map there, and I can see sort of roughly where you are. She says, as far as Chicago Airport is concerned, you are right. Because I said it, I thought it was a boring place. Chicago. I mean, there's loads of places to eat. That's about it. Yeah, there's a few shops, expensive shops, but nothing that like normal peasant like me could buy. You know, it's all Louis Vuitton handbags and all that. Or at least I thought it was when I was there. She says, as far as Chicago Airport is concerned, you are right. I've been there several times in my travels throughout the US and internationally, and there are many high-priced shops there. You mentioned the high-priced handbags they have there, and sometimes when you were out, how Ron mentioned how nice a bag is. Oh, he likes his bags, Ron. Oh, he's got a cupboard full of these blooming posh handbags, dear. If memory serves me right, you also said that Ron was a bit up his own arse. Yes. Incidentally, I noticed the Americans spend arse A-double-S. In the UK, we spend it spell it A-R-S-E, you know. It's not, we say arse. You say ass, we say arse. So Ron is up his own arse. With everything I've heard about him, I tend to agree, but let's cut him some slack. As anyone could tell, he has great taste and very attractive. Are you having a laugh? Ron, attractive? Oh, don't I know it. And let me tell you now, Angela, he loves to talk about it as well. How beautiful he is. Oh, it does piss me off when I'm working in bars and things, and he's there, and he's the one that I don't get chatted up. They just look past me. Sometimes... Oh, hang on, I've got to do something on that other computer again. It's telling me to restart because there's a software upgrade on the virus. We've got to keep our virus things up to date, dear. We don't want to be attacked by viri while I'm sitting here. Yes, he always gets... And sometimes, people make an excuse of coming up and asking me for a request, and they're looking at him. I don't get chatted up anymore by the other lads. They're all chatting him up. And he says, oh, I've got a boyfriend, and oh, right. And that don't stop them. They go on and on and on. Attractive? I mean, I can't see it myself. My best mate being attractive. Oh, wait till I don't dare show him this email because I should never hear the end of it, Angela. He will go on and on about it. You asked if I carried one of these high-price handbags, and here's the deal. Now, don't tell anyone this. Of course, Angela, I would never ever tell anyone anything. You know that, dear. This is just between you and me. Don't tell anyone this, but I took an old flour sack, pinned a ribbon to it, and that is my handbag. And she sends a picture of it. How fantastic. She makes her own things. Oh, I wish I could make my own things, Angela. I do hate buying anything, you know that. Right, where are we going now? Let me see. In my last email, I gave you... Oh, hang on. I have several handbags, but none in the price range that you were mentioning. I love stylish things, but you don't have to spend that much to get something nice, and being creative, I always customise many of the things I buy anyway. I think that's wonderful, being able to make things out of stuff. I'm not really very talented like that, you know. I can just talk. Believe me, I can talk and talk and talk. In my last email, I gave you clues in regards to my brother's job as well as my own. Yes. And I think, let me see if I can find this little email here from Stella, who guesses your brother's job. I've got it here somewhere. Now, what does she guess it as? Let me have a look. Is it there? No, I can't find that. Now, what does she... I think it was Stella. No, I can't find it. I think from memory, I think Stella guessed your brother's job as a funeral director or an undertaker. Okay? Angela says, I will tell you about my brother's first. He lives in the same town as me. The two clues I gave you about his job were, he is the last one to let you down and he will never be without a job. You are so smart because you came up with a totally different meaning to the clue, which I had not even thought of. Trust me. Katie? Katie? Where are you, darling? Katie? Here, she's here. Katie, come on, darling, what's wrong? Katie? What's up, girl? You keep meowing, darling. Come here, come and say hello. Katie? No? She's a funny cat, she really is. I love her to bits. Angela says, you said you never let people down, and that is a great trait to have, and my brother also is always on time, dependable, and never lets people down. That is me. I am always on time, very dependable, as long as I know where I'm going. Oh, now the phone's ringing. Just a second. Oh, hello, dear. Hello. Can I put you on speakerphone, because I'm just doing my show and I've got to read something from a listener for you. I'm going to put you on speakerphone for a minute, all right? I'm just doing a little show. I've got to read you something. Right. Okay, Ron's coming on the speakerphone now. Let's just turn it up there. Say hello, dear.
Hello.
Hello, it's Ron on the speakerphone.
Hello.
Can I read you this bit of
people.
If I just read you, this is from a lady in the States.
Right.
Let me see. Let me get to the bit. Okay, I'll read this again. I've already read it out once. You mentioned the high price of handbags at Chicago Airport. You remember we went to Chicago Airport?
Yeah.
And there were just really expensive shops there, weren't there? There wasn't like, you know, like a Dixon's or something like that, was there? It was all high price stuff. She says, you mentioned the high price handbags they have at Chicago Airport, and also sometimes when you're out, how Ron mentions how nice a bag is, which you do. Am I right? Constantly. She says, if memory serves me right, you also said that Ron was a bit up his own... Oh, no, I can't read that bit to you, darling. With everything I've heard about him, I tend to agree, but let's cut him some slack. As anyone could tell... Are you ready for this? I'm never going to hear the end of this. As anyone can tell, he has great taste and is very attractive.
Thank you.
She must have dirt in her eye. I don't know if she's... I mean, this lady, I don't know if she's hard of seeing at all or something like that.
Hard of seeing?
Yeah, hard of seeing.
Being partially blind. Hard of seeing.
Partially blind, you know.
Hard of seeing.
What's wrong with hard of seeing?
Well, Oh, you do make me laugh.
Eh? Are you on your house phone?
I've lost the connection.
Are you on your house phone?
No, I'm on my mobile. I'm just going to Coast to get something for lunch. We wanted to know if you wanted to come over.
What's the time? Oh, it's 1:45.
Okay.
No.
Maybe tomorrow. I'll have lunch tomorrow with you.
Yeah. Okay then. So you're pleased to hear that? She thinks you have great taste. They're very attractive.
That's wonderful. And I do have good taste.
Do you?
You're my best friend.
Oh yes, of course.
There you go.
Yes.
Of course.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll speak to you later.
Nice to talk to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, listeners.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
4 of you.
Shut up, woman. There you are. There you are. That was funny how he should ring like that. Bang on time sort of thing. Anyway, back to the email. So, always on time, dependable, and never lets people down. Exactly the same as me. I like to think I'm dependable. I never let people down, but, as long as I can find the place. Usually, if I've got a job, if I've got a DJing job to do, and I haven't been there before, I generally go first and have a look, because you don't want to let people down at the last minute. So he goes on to say, but in the clue, I was saying he is the last one to physically let you down. Oh, look at this. Down into the ground, that's right. Believe it or not, he is a funeral director. Oh, what an awful job. I don't think I could... It's going blurry. Do you know, I think it's time for me to get a new video camera. I should have done that in the States where they're much cheaper. Because this one keeps blurring out. I don't know what... Oh, I know. I've got to push a button on it. That's right. I haven't put it to manual. There we are. Switching to manual. I sound like a pilot now on a plane, don't I? Anyway, she goes on to say that is why he will never be without a job. He is perfectly suited for this work, as he is one of the most kind and compassionate people you will ever meet. I've often said to him, I don't know how you can do this job when you are having a bad day. And he always says, no matter how bad of a day I'm having, they are having a worse one, and it's up to me to make this difficult time as easy as possible for them. And, yes, I mean, obviously you've got to be like that. I think that's a job I'd be very good at, actually, a funeral person. I would try and comfort people when they come in, and it's. I don't think it's a job that anyone could do. You've got to be a certain sort of person to do that. Now for my job. Chris, I should give you a spanking. Oh, no, I'm not into anything like that, I'm afraid. I'm sorry, Angela, I don't do all that spanking thing. I know some people are into it. I mean, I've met some of them. I really have. I've actually been asked to spank... Oh, no, I don't want to go into it, really. It's not my... really not my sort of thing at all. Your clue was I make the world a more beautiful place, and you said surely you're not a decorator. Surely I'm not a decorator. Well, surely I am. Oh! Oh, what a shame you're not here. I'd love to have my place done up. See, I can't bear people in the house that I don't know. There are a couple of rooms that could be done, actually, at the moment, to be honest. She says, I have a 4-year degree from a university in interior design. You're a clever old thing you are, aren't you? I've attached some photos so you can see exactly what I do. I know you can't show them to all your viewers, but I'd love to hear your opinion as well as Ron's regarding the photos. And I can show photos if I want, do anything I want. We've got a few photos. The only other thing is, there are people that just listen to this show as well. So there's a fireplace there and some beautiful photos. I've only printed them off in black and white because I'm tight. I don't like to spend money on ink unless I have to. There's some beautiful, beautiful things here, so I will take those to Ronnie. In fact, we might make another show of this. I think what I'll do is get him over here and show him that whole email. So I must put that aside and not throw it away when I've finished reading it. So you're very talented, aren't you? Because I'm no good at anything like that. I could decorate or do things like that. It's not my sort of thing. Beautiful photos. Many people don't realise that in design there are many jobs you can do. In the past, I decorated and did the displays for furniture stores up to 60,000 square feet. Was an accessory buyer, lamps, rugs, etc. for 28 stores. An art director for TV commercials, specified paint flooring for new stores, and drew retail store plans by hand for stores up to 60,000 square feet. You know what? I could have you around here. I'd like to decorate the studio. I need to do something with the studio. We've had the mirror board and the lights behind us and the Union Jack flag and the clock now for possibly over a year. It's time for a new set, don't you think? What do you suggest, Angela? Now, bear in mind, there's not an awful lot of room in here, okay? I could move into the spare room, and I did do that before, but I've now got a bed in there, and you don't want to be seeing a bed while I'm doing the show, do you? Unless I could put it up against the wall or something, which, I mean, that's possible, actually. What do you suggest, Angela? There's a little drop. I can't pay you. I'm poor. I'm very, very poor, Angela. We can't afford to be paying for this information. I'm sorry, dear. What do you suggest I put behind me? Anything? Now I work staging homes. I head up the staging division of the company I work for. If any of your viewers watch Home and Garden television, they have seen where designers stage homes to help them sell quicker. Yes, I've heard of this sort of thing. You know, when I bought this house, just over 20 years ago now, before I selected this one, I went around a few different houses. I couldn't believe the state of some of the houses that they were trying to sell. I mean, really, you know, dumps, absolute dumps. Some of them hadn't even been hoovered. They were absolute holes. You know? I don't understand that. How can you sell a place if you haven't tidied it up? Awful, awful. I select and purchase accessories and furniture for the homes, load them up with the help of two gentlemen who handle the furniture, place it in the home, and then accessorise it to play down the negative features and play up the positive ones. Then when the home sells, I pack everything up and either move it to another home or move it back to my storage area. I have copied a spreadsheet below. You were inquiring about what it was. It basically just rows and columns. I help to keep track of inventory and its costs, so I kind of get that. I do get that. You see, I mean, when I do my accounts, I'm kind of got a book. On one side comes the incomings, on the other side does the outgoings. It's just a computer version of that, really, isn't it? Well, I better wrap up. More info in the next email, and maybe some private info as well. We'll just have to wait and see. Can't wait to hear your next show. Well, here it is, Angie. P.S. I've only seen season 1 and 2 of Merlin. I watched them on Hulu, but they do not have any more of the other seasons right now. I'm going crazy wanting to see more episodes, but will probably buy them because I can't find the other seasons online anywhere. Is that Lancelot hot or what? Oh, Ron is in love with Lancelot. Yeah, he's the really muscly one, isn't he? Oh, and when he has fights, oh, I have to sit down, I really do. Buy them because I can't find any season. Lancelot is very hot. Tell me, Arthur or Lancelot, which one do you like? You'll be surprised to know I prefer Merlin. I quite like Merlin. Yeah. Inquiring minds want to know. No, I prefer Merlin to Arthur or Lancelot. But if it was Arthur or Lancelot, would be Lancelot. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Angela, for your lovely email there. Hope to hear from you again soon, my darling, okay? Right, we better wrap up because we're nearly at an hour, which will please Robert from Iceland, won't it? Robert in Iceland, he likes the longer shows. And as I say, lots of your emails here, boys and girls, that you've kindly sent in. I'm sorry we can't get through all of them more quickly, but that's okay. We'll spread them out. I know you're not in too much of a rush to hear your email read out, are you? My email address, if you want to join in at any time, it's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Once again, Twitter, if you want to join us on Twitter, it's ChrisReardonUK, and facebook.com/ChrisReardonUK as well. I'll see you on the next show. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye.